Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, COVID woes continue to rise in Northeast in one way or the other, while the fear of community transmission is rising in Assam, especially Guwahati, leading to growing chorus of reimposition of temporary lockdown. Rampant violation of quarantine norms are being reported from various parts of Manipur. In Meghalaya, meanwhile, the government is trying to deal with the menace of fake news, even as it has rejected random retesting of samples of returnees after 2 returnees tested positive, even though they had tested negative on their return from outside the region. All in all, the COVID situation continues to be intense in Northeast. To carry the discussion forward, I am being joined by Meghalaya Health Minister L. Hek from Shillong. Dr. Navajyoti Gogoi, SDMO Dibrugarh, will join me from Dibrugarh. From Imphal, I am being joined by Dr. R.K. Lenin of RIMS, while Dr. K. Palin of Shiza Hospital and Research Care Institute, Imphal, will also join me in a short while. So will Assam BJP spokesperson, Assam BJP leader Rajkumar Sharma, who will be joining me from Guwahati in some time, and Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, Professor Nehu, will also be joining me. But if I can go to Mr. L. Hek, the Meghalaya Health Minister first. Are we connected with Mr. Hek? Yes, we are. Mr. L. Hek, there has been quite a bit of rumors doing rounds on social media over the COVID situation in the state, so much so that you personally had to visit a particular locality in Shillong yesterday to allay fears. So how does the government plan to curb this? Is strict vigilance being maintained on social media?
Yeah, okay. Regarding those people who are spreading the negative news about the COVID-19, yesterday on our daily review meeting, we have already discussed yesterday in our review meeting, and also to take these people to task. Anybody those are mongering, who are sending this kind of fake news in social media. So yesterday we have launched an FIR also today. Okay, so we have already launched an FIR and also went to building confidence of people. They should not listen to this kind of negative spreading in the social media until unless we give only the information from the health department and also from the state government.
But Mr. Hek, there are also allegations from a certain section that dissemination of information is found a bit lacking from the government side as far as the COVID situation is concerned. How do you react to that?
See, this, if for my knowledge and your information to all is, we are giving the briefing every day. Every day we are updating about the COVID-19 status in the state of Meghalaya. Every day myself, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, the DHS MI, and even the Chief Minister also is briefing all the time to the people for disseminations of information to the people of our states. And to tell that there is a lack of information, I will not agree, because we are sincerely taking this briefing every day.
Okay, but talking specifically about the case in Nigrims where a pregnant woman with a travel history tested positive, of course she has delivered a baby, healthy baby. Do you think there has been a little lapse somewhere as far as that incident is concerned, sir?
No, but it has been handled better. Delinquent is not neglected for that patient. Once, that time when she was admitted there, she was a negative patient. Okay, and after they found the husband is positive, again they have done her testing. After they found the positive, then they have to take her from the general ward to the isolation ward. It was not anything anywhere that it has been neglected to the patients. They have been taken care so much as the other patients. It's an equal treatment been given to all the patients who are going to admit in any hospital, in either it is government hospital or private hospital.
Now, staying with the same case, the couple in question had tested negative, as you just said, upon arrival, but were found positive later. Taking note of the incident, don't you think at least attempt should be made at random testing of returnees, especially those coming from worst affected areas like Maharashtra or Delhi or some other parts?
See what we are doing in the state of Meghalaya, those people are coming from red zone. Those who are coming outside from outside Meghalaya, we consider them are as red zone only. First and foremost, what we are doing in every, in Guwahati railway station, we have our own counter which is set up by the state of Meghalaya. Even in the airport, we have the own counter which is set up by the government of Meghalaya. People coming from outside, whether they are pre-registered, they are registered or not registered also, all of them we have been registered in those our counters, whether it is in the railway station or it is in the airport. So both of them we have been doing registered, and also all of them, those are returnees coming back from the different states, all the vehicle, it is free of cost provided by the state government. We do not allow even the relative or the parents to go and pick them up. Okay, that is number one. Number two, we don't allow their own private vehicle nor the commercial vehicle to pick them up. All the vehicle registered under the government of Meghalaya under supervision of the health workers or all the magistrate, only we went and picked up all those people coming back from different states to bring them to Meghalaya. After that, after reaching the Bernihat, there's an entry point where they do everybody checking all of them, and also do the thermal scanners test to all of them. After that, they will bring back them to the institutional center only. After they have brought them to institutional center, we allow them to go and take rest, have food, take the bath, and tomorrow morning only the government, they take their sample. After that, they will send the sample to Negram Hospital for testing. So all measures been taken very, very seriously, and we are not taking any chances that to be neglecting anywhere. That is the procedure that we are following in the state of Meghalaya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. El Haq, for all those updates. That was Mr. El Haq, the Health Minister of Meghalaya. As we mentioned, Assam is also facing this fear of community transmission, especially Guwahati, where over 12 cases have been found without travel history. We're being joined from Dibrugarh by Dr. Nabajyoti Gogoi, SDMO Dibrugarh. Dr. Gogoi, we are facing a fresh challenge now. All this time, the challenge was to get back the returnees, put them in quarantine centers, but now this is like the third challenge, the fear of community transmission and how to control it before it spreads. What is your assessment of the current situation?
Initially when we thought, when the lockdown was lifted, the Shramik Express has started coming. We in Dibrugarh, we are facing a little bit problem at this moment, facing that there's been a tremendous pressure on us on three sides: roadways, one regional camp, on the airport is a regional camp, and railways, a lot of trains are coming, 6 flights are coming, so many trains are coming. So day and night, we have to engage all our workers. Along with it, the quarantine facilities, as we should be having it, they're almost getting filled up in proper norms. I meant to say the facilities that have the proper norms with a single toilet facility, and so that we can keep it in a better way. Now we need to shift those quarantine camps to the larger institutions like school, college, hostels and all that. So in that, we are seeing that there is a transmission there among themselves inside the quarantine centers. There are three aspects in which I have seen the people, those who are coming in Shramik Express, they are not maintaining distance out there in a thing. There's a problem, and they are getting probably they are a little bit getting sort of irritated staying inside the camps and all that, staying for a long time. And we are trying to control the situation, and we are taking the second sample also. We have found quite a lot of them, about 30% of them came positive. So the medical college seats are getting filled up slowly. We are thinking of another COVID hospitals in the peripheries, and there might be a leakage somewhere in tackling the situation. The health workers, those who are engaged day and night, So a little bit complacency and might lead to a community transmission. We are aware of the fact. We are trying our level best to contain it inside the camp.
Of course, as of now, I'm sure the samples are still being collected before people are sent to quarantine centers.
Yeah, like before, we are making it a rule. Without taking samples, we are not letting them inside the camp. So what we are doing, we have our sample collection centers in all the regional centers. As soon as the passengers arrive, we take their samples, we take their details, and send them to quarantine centers. That's what we are doing. And suppose in the first samples we find some positive cases. There also we do a contact tracing among themselves. So with whom the positive case might have come into the physical contact. And there's a very interesting thing we have observed in some of the hotels and institutions. Some roommates are not being infected in the second sample, but some other people, those who are getting positive cases, those who are having a very close physical relationship with them, shaking hands and living together, and then walking around with them inside the campus, sort of, we have observed that. And we are taking all the steps. We are using psychologists in the camp. They're going and they're trying them to come off the situation. Please try to understand us, be safe, sort of message we are trying to give.
All right. Dr. R.K. Lenin, of course, is with the psychiatrist at RIMS Hospital. Dr. Lenin, a number of reports of rampant quarantine norms violation are coming from several parts of Manipur, despite repeated appeals by the government. Why do you think it's recurring, sir?
This is a very unfortunate observation and happening in Manipur, but we cannot pinpoint what can be the actual cause, or we can fix the responsibility to a particular person or particular group. In my opinion, it is basically because of the mammoth size of the exercise we are handling now. It is without any preparation, without any warning. The pandemic COVID-19 has arrived in our country, in our state. Our infrastructure is, as you know, not very rich, and somehow we have managed to accommodate around 35,000 returnees from different parts of the country and the globe. And now also, if I am not mistaken, around 20,000 are still in the different types of quarantines. Some of them are institutional and some of them are the community quarantine. So there is a imbalance, the infrastructure and the expectations, and at least the expectations can be of different grades and levels. Some people are simply they are expecting the basic amenities because they understand and they have taken the responsibility, and some of them are behaving very well, and even they contribute in the management of their own rooms in their quarantine. They used to clean the campus, they used to plant trees and help in beautification of the campus, and they are living very happily and cordially, and very ideal quarantines are also there. But in certain situations, the untoward events are there. Basically, they, if I am not wrong, are related with substance of abuse like alcohol and opioids and cannabis, like that in some of the centers. And some of the centers, I heard it is because of the miscommunication about the testing facilities and about getting or not getting the results in time. So all these things boils down into the difference between the demand and the supply. That is one very big reason, and this is no one's fault, because the size of the exercise is so huge, and it is such in a sudden arrangement. Centers are makeshift, and most of the places, especially the washrooms and toilet facilities, are inadequate. Water supply as such is not very good in Manipur, so there is some constraints even in the routine normal days also. And another aspect we can think of is when we are talking about 20,000 or 10,000 people. Say when we consider about the progress in life or the smooth functioning of a society, we always talk about the mental health of those person or mental health of that society. And we all know that prevalence of mental ill health or mental problem is about 10% if we take the lower side of the prevalence rate. So amongst the 20,000 so many people in the quarantine centers, we can expect some behavioral problems and some behaviors which are not expected. So for example, many people who are already dependent on substance of abuse like alcohol, opioids and cannabis,
All right.
they will do
All right, I will have to stop here. We have a just hang on, Dr. Lennon. We have a breaking news coming in from Shillong. Well, a senior resident doctor of Negrims has been arrested and put under 14-day judicial custody on molestation charges, alleged molestation. Two female patients visited the said doctor at Negrims, where they, as per allegations, were molested by the doctor. Yes, this is the big breaking news at this point in time. A senior resident doctor of Negrims has been arrested and put under 14 days judicial custody on molestation charges. As per information, two women with some surgical medical problem were referred from another hospital in Shillong to Negrims. The woman who consulted at the this senior resident doctor of internal medicine in OPD later came out with the allegation of molestation. The doctor, as of now, has been identified as Dr. Jutam Chaudhary, and it's a big allegation. A senior resident doctor of Negrims arrested, the premier health institute in the region, mind you. This senior resident doctor has been arrested and put under 14 days judicial custody on charges of molestation for allegedly molesting two female patients who had come to the OPD. And also Meghalaya Health Minister Al Haq has also confirmed this development. However, he refused to further comment on the matter and said that it is under investigation. In the meantime, viewers, we have reactions coming in from SP Claudia Lengwa on the incident. Let's listen in.
Two ladies went to Negrims for their medical checkup, and after they finished their medical checkup, they must have gone back home. But it appears that when they reach home, they shared their experience of that medical checkup with some family members or whatever, and then it transpired that the family members told them, well, there was a discussion, that it appears that this particular medical examination by the doctor was improper and should be reported. So because I think it took them a while to even talk, and so finally they came to us quite late in the night, yesterday evening, and filed a complaint at the Rinjak police station. Immediately on receiving this complaint, we first send the two ladies send them for the proper medical checkup at Ganeshdas Hospital, and then of course we had to record their statement and just ask them to just narrate everything, and then this morning we arrested the doctor and we have forwarded him to court, and he's now in judicial custody.
Well, big incident. This senior resident doctor of Negrims arrested and put under 14 days judicial custody on molestation charges. We just heard the SP. We'll have to take a very short break here. Stay tuned for more. Hello and welcome back to Bottom Line. Well, that shocker from Meghalaya indeed. Of course, we will keep track of that incident and we are trying to get all the information from there. Coming back to the discussion, if I can go back to Dr. Gogoi in Dibrugarh. Dr. Gogoi, when we talk of local transmission, community transmission, there is also a lot of fear, but surprisingly that fear is perhaps not getting transformed into following the norms strictly these days. Don't you think so?
It's my personal observation. What I have observed right from the beginning when the lockdown started, the initial period, people were very much aware. They were they were maintaining all the norms which have been laid down for them, and they have been very conscious about the situation. They were taking care. But now, as the days are progressing, we are looking at some people. They are getting a little bit complacent about the situation. They are roaming around free. They are gathering, and there are some in marketplaces, there are a lot of gathering without having any distancing sort of thing. And that might create problem. And one more thing I would like to state here today, like if we get some time, at least if the trains have been stopped for a few days, or those who are coming in, I would like to request the people, those who are waiting outside, please bear with us. Try not to come now. Please take some time there outside wherever you are, stay there, so that our load is not too much, so that we are not being able to protect the community transmission.
And also there are speculations that if more cases without travel history are found, there may be a fresh temporary lockdown in certain areas or towns, or say even Guwahati. Now, I'm not talking about the economic part of it as of now, but medically speaking, do you think it's worth it to go for another lockdown given the stakes involved?
The government will have to decide, but if you ask me personally, what I feel, that we are trying our level best. We are giving our 100% effort. Where now I would like to state in different way. I said we are not doing a 100-meter dash. We are running a marathon. We know, like I will have to run gradually and steady. But if you run like a horse and run like a 100-meter dash, probably the workers will be tired by then. So we'll have to see the things in a longer perspectives. We'll have to plan accordingly. That's my feeling.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Lenin, basically what you said earlier, was that some of those involved in violating the norms could probably be substance abusers also, a very minute number, maybe, may not be. We are not saying that they are. But do you also think the use of force is the way forward?
Right. So, as in continuation with what I said, I'm not blaming that anybody who is violating the SOP or the rules and norms of the quarantines are in this category. No. Sometimes this can be one of the reasons, and another is lack of ownership, that they feel that they are being imposed after travel, after suffering for say weeks or months in the stranded place. When they are coming back home, they are expecting that they will go home and meet their near and dear ones and spend their homely food, enjoy their homemade food and homely environment. But they are again kept for another 14 days away from their sweet home. So that might create some frustration, and their tolerance is a bit tested. And so the first thing we have to do is that the awareness level and the sense of ownership, and the making them believe that it is their own responsibility to protect themselves, to save themselves, to save their near and dear ones. It is not an imposition, it is not a punishment. That sort of feeling, not only the awareness, but the feeling has to be there for all the inmates. Then they will accept the reality, and they will participate willingly. And that's how, as I have explained in the beginning, the behavior will be very friendly and the congenial one, and it will be good for everyone who is maintaining the quarantine and who is also staying in. But sometimes there are many factors, out of which I have mentioned. One is that lack of awareness. Number two, lack of acceptance that this is for their own benefit. Third is, even though they accept, they cannot tolerate the cravings sometimes if they are dependent on substances. Sometimes some people, they because of some reasons of mental unpreparedness or mental ill health, they will not be able to understand or this one comply with the rules and regulations of any situation, including the quarantine center. So here the question is, as you have put rightly, the enforcement, only punishment is not the answer. We have to handle it as a tailor-made this one size will not fit everyone. And here there are two, three levels we have to work on. First is to make the aware everyone, and number two is to support psychosocially by way of counseling, maybe tele-counseling, and keep them engaged and informed about the progress and all that. And another issue, as I have mentioned in the beginning, that every sound man also, they become intolerant about the time period of waiting the result of their test. That is because of the constraint in the testing laboratory facilities. Now it is very much improved, but even then we can perform only 1,500 or so if we stretch 24-hour services put into. But the backlog is so much because the returnees are about 35,000. So we have to understand and we have to explain from time to time and pacify their eagerness to receive. And the third point is, in spite of doing all these things, there will be some percentage of population who will be requiring to enforce, because sometimes without this the discipline cannot be maintained.
Basically,
so all the
everybody has to coordinate.
I think will be required in any situation.
Basically, everybody has to coordinate. Well, we are also being joined at this moment by Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, Professor Nehu from Shillong, and Rajkumar Sharma of Assam BJP is also with us. If I can go to Mr. Rajkumar Sharma first. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, well, there are talks that there's a growing chorus also for a fresh lockdown, temporary lockdown, of course, if the numbers increase, those without travel history increase at this rate. Do you think we are prepared for another lockdown, Mr. Sharma?
See, Navarun, this is a very difficult question, as right now, considering the economic condition of our state, as well as economic condition of our country. Lockdown is a very tough decision, but then, you know, the problem is the way in Guwahati especially, I have seen that every now and then, every day, 3-4 containment zone has been declared, and especially patient from public has been, we are finding that a lot of patients are from without travel history, without contact history, are being gotten regularly. Till yesterday, it was, as health minister said, that almost 13% we have got from where they do not have travel history. Today also, I have seen some patient has been found in several localities. So, considering this, government should think about it certainly. But the full lockdown is really tough task because our economic condition may not support this. As a whole, India is suffering a lot, and Assam is also suffering a lot. But then the way the patients are being, every day new patients are being arrived in city, it is a very dangerous situation. And community transmission danger has arrived. Especially you can see the Bishnupur locality, Phatasil locality, then Lal Ganesh, then
it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation, isn't it, Mr. Sharma? It's a difficult situation, and it's not easy to take a call.
It is a very difficult task to take a decision on this regard, Navarun. But considering the security and safety of the public of Assam, especially public of Guwahati, I think a lockdown for few period of 10-15 days must be announced, because the way community transmission is spreading in Guwahati, it will be a very dangerous situation like some other states.
Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, do you think we can afford to think of even a temporary lockdown of a week at this moment? Do you think we can afford that?
Question of affording arises if it is medically necessary. I firmly believe that lockdown really doesn't stop transmission of COVID. Therefore, lockdown as a means have been turned into a blunt idea, and this really doesn't work anymore. Instead of lockdown, there should be medical supervision, medical tracking of the spread of the virus. Non-medical means like lockdown and separating people and isolating people is a 19th century idea. I don't think this idea has any value in today's world. Therefore, we should not be thinking of lockdown that is antediluvian. We have to rather think of increasing testing. We have to augment the medical facility. We have to have more beds, ventilators, and also availability of medicines, prophylactic medicines.
Maybe the norms need to be tightened a bit because see, all this time we almost everybody testing positive was a returnee. The state was prepared for it. They were in institutional quarantine. Samples were collected. Accordingly, they were being sent to COVID hospitals. Numbers have risen drastically, but nevertheless, the government is prepared for it. But when it comes to local or community transmission, we may stare at a situation like that of Maharashtra. We all know what is happening in Maharashtra, where the government, the authorities have run out of infrastructure, have run out of hospital beds. So that is another way probably of looking at it, Dr. Biswas.
No, government facilities not yet ran out in Maharashtra. There are 10,000 fresh beds added yesterday. And government facilities like ventilators have also been augmented. Therefore, there is no possibility like a Malthusian situation when population overcomes the stock of food. It cannot be that the number of diseased people go so high that hospital beds actually get outrun or overrun. That kind of situation is not going to arise in a country like India because only 2% of the patients require ventilator. We will need bed and proper medical equipment and augmentation of the medical services that have to be done by taking all kinds of means, including private players and civil society as well. So if we can be medically confident to tackle the rise of cases, it will be possible to really tackle the rise of cases. Lockdown is a non-medical means. It has nothing to do with medicines and medical science. So we should avoid that path because it is a beaten track already. Right.
Rajkumar Sharma, even if we look at it from the economic point of view, the lockdown had just been relaxed. This is unlock phase 1 that we are in. Businesses are slowly catching up. Of course, we have had malls opening and we have so many things, cinema halls for instance, yet to open. But still, things are catching up as far as the economic activities are concerned. Do you think lockdown or stricter measures should be the last option at this moment?
I see now there is a two theory on this regard. One is, if you think about the economic point of view, lockdown is not advisable, as Mr. One of the panelists has said. But another story is theory is that we have to protect the human life also. In case of protection of human life, we have to take some drastic and strong decision. As far as Assam is concerned, we are in a very comfortable situation right now as far as medical part is concerned, because we have got 3,500 patients out of 1,500 has been released. So right now the pressure of patient is 2,000, and I think our state can handle up to 5,000, 10,000, 5,000, 6,000 patients, because there are a lot of hospitals that have been developed by our government. So this is a very good sign. But then if community transmission starts, then there may be a very dangerous sign. You see in Guwahati itself, now, if you visit Pan Bazaar, you visit Laktokia, you visit Fancy Bazaar, Eki Road, GS Road, people are not understanding and people are not maintaining social distancing also. And if you go to the sabji market and fish market, then you will find that people are buying like anything you can't see. So this is a very dangerous sign that community.
Basically, despite the fear of community transmission, that is not getting transformed into more stricter implementation.
I don't know why people are not understanding about this fact that this is a very dangerous situation. We must protect ourselves.
Absolutely. In fact, I have another breaking news. Another breaking news coming in. One more COVID death has been reported in Assam. A 27-year-old youth from Hojai succumbed to the virus at GMCH. Swab sample of the youth was tested positive after his death. Okay, the swab sample of the youth was tested positive after his death. The youth was admitted to GMCH on June 8th and died on June 9th. Third death report of the day this. So Assam death toll now rises to 9. This is the latest case. A 27-year-old youth dies. Of course, in this case, the sample tested positive after his death. Earlier in the day today, 2 more deaths were reported while a 50-year-old person hailing from Buxa district breathed his last at GMCH. A 73-year-old woman from Hailakandi succumbed to the virus at SMCH. So the death toll in Assam has risen to 9. And this is the latest case. 27-year-old youth from Hojai dies at GMCH. Big breaking news. Okay, that's what we were discussing. If I can go back to Dr. Navajyoti Gogoi, Dr. Gogoi, this is a marathon. This is a marathon battle, Dr. Gogoi, and it will stay. It will stay. It's a long drawn battle. How is the morale of the health workers personally? How are you keeping your team motivated personally? These are difficult times.
It's like a war, no? And I need to stand ahead. So I have been standing ahead. I myself had gone to hotels and while shifting the cases, out of 94 cases, I have shifted myself 62 of them. I had been there in the forefront, shifting them to the COVID hospital and coming back to my work. So that I had to show. Now the doctors and the periphery, those who are reluctant, they are coming up, and the staff are coming up. Even some staff are saying it's a very good note. Some staff, sir, now we are enjoying our work.
Absolutely. If I can go to Dr. Palin, Dr. Palin, who is also joining us from Imphal. Dr. Palin, of course, the CMD of the Shiza Hospital and Research Institute. The same question, Dr. Palin. Reports of quarantine norm violation are coming in from various facility quarantine centers, and they are disturbing. Why do you think is it happening? Is it because of lack of awareness or lack of proper facilities?
I see. Manipur is 16th position in the literacy, and Kerala, of course, they're number 1. And this is happening. Not that they don't know this. This is just some sort of carelessness, and it is going to cause a lot of other issues in the lateral spread. And the government of Manipur has already ordered that those who are violating the quarantine center protocol, they will be kept in the jail, because some amount of I think a strict protocol is required in a place, a democratic place like India, and everybody cannot do as they think. So let us I think see. I think government has clamped for strict rule, so that those who are violating the rules, they will be kept in the jail, and also people are aware. I think they have, for the last 3 months, almost 3 months, I think there is an intensive awareness program, and also luckily because of the digital media, other things, luckily the fighting corona in this era, golden era of this development, I think it is quite easy also. Everything is known within seconds, and they are quite aware. It is just their development, their knowledge, and their integrity and religious discipline, the so-called discipline. So it is lack of discipline and integrity, and I think this can be easily tightened over with the force.
That's quite motivating. That's quite motivating.
May spread
to hear,
and this may cause another wave.
Yeah, that's quite motivating.
So I think government has
if I can go to Dr. Lenin, Dr. Lenin, staying with the quarantine norms violations, Dr. Lenin, do you think involvement of community involvement of community can curb the menace? For instance, if people return, when youths are returning to their respective districts, they are put in the quarantine centers, probably community elders can have a session with them and sort it out. Probably it will be smoother than the authorities trying to enforce things.
Yes. The involvement of community is a must. Now also the involvement is very satisfactory. But we are talking about those volunteers who are coming forward. They are mostly youths and they are energetic and ready to help. But basic minimum trainings, or at least do's and don'ts, or about the SOP, they are supposed to train before letting them work in the quarantine centers. That is number one. Elders are also equally important, and they can also contribute both in the advisory level or in the contribution of the disciplining their own relatives, and also the supporting in the administration about as a liaison officer, what is being deficient and what is being supplied and what is being the deficiencies and how much we have to tolerate, and all those things the elders will be in a very good position to contribute. And without the contribution of the community, it will be very difficult. Now we understand that this is going to stay, the COVID-19, and it is going to increase in number. So the only ultimate thing will be the responsibility of each and every citizen and responsibility of each and every returnee. It is very important. If one is doing out of the SOP, the fault will be bear by many. So everyone's responsibility is very, very important, and everyone should behave at this juncture. So community involvement is to be encouraged at the maximum level.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Lenin, for those inputs. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, do you think at a time when the fears of community transmission are rising, it is also time is also ripe probably for private health institutes, private hospitals to also strictly follow the procedures, COVID norms, procedures, because you never know as any patient walks into the hospital, that could be a potential COVID case. And similarly, if the numbers were to increase like that in Maharashtra, probably some of our private hospitals should also be ready.
Hospitals by themselves probably cannot do much. They have to be guided by government machinery, and Absolutely. They have to be brought under a government prescribed norm of treating the patients if patients go there. In case of Mumbai, there are strict ways of government intervention. So those protocols can be followed in Assam or Manipur or in the Northeast. That's one part. But the second part is more important about community transmission. Let me say most unequivocally that there is absolutely no community transmission or its possibility in the whole of the country, as ICMR has made clear yesterday. So therefore, let us not spread any fear about community transmission. And also the other important thing is that infected people do not necessarily infect the non-infected one. So therefore, this idea of community transmission and not having known the source of the transmission is not at all realistic. That's,
that is the point that you have made would also encourage a lot of people. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma is somebody who also has interactions with the traders' bodies, with the business communities in Assam, in Guwahati. How do you think, these are difficult times. These are difficult times for everybody, the daily wage earners, the salaried, the people who own firms, the entrepreneurs. How do you see is their morale? And even if we think of a fresh lockdown, well, that can be really detrimental to their morale. What is your observation of the market situation now?
Now I have discussed with so many people in business community. Both are having the different opinion. To be very honest, on my part, because there is a fear among business community also. But then the government has mandated that 2 customers, 3 customers can enter. But then you can understand that once the crowd comes, businessmen are forced. So they are also fearing their life because they. So both the opinion is there. Someone's yes, it should be, because especially in Guwahati, I'll tell you, after this 13 cases have been found in Guwahati, and who are having no travel history. today also some patient has been found. So people are caring about this. So, but then people wants to run their business. The main worry is this small daily wage earners, then the small vendors, then vegetable vendors. All are. This is a serious situation. So I told you initially that this is a very tough decision for the government to take a call for the lockdown. Again, I tell you that the condition with, like, I may not agree with Mr. Prasenjit, who is speaking that there is no community transmission or something like that. But if you see in Guwahati, people have been infected without going anywhere, just buying sabji and going here and there, they have been infected. So we can believe that person coming from outside may be carrying this infection from Delhi, Bombay or somewhere, but that person who is staying in Guwahati have not gone anywhere. How he has been infected? Must be some silent carrier is running in Guwahati. So another issue is, if we can go large scale testing, rapid testing, this problem can be solved. But the government has to
testing, of course, testing, of course, is really important. I am being joined right now by Mr. Parikshit Datta from Golaghat, Assam. Parikshit Datta, of course, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a social worker. He has taken an initiative in his very small way, with whatever funds he could collect with donation from friends and those who cooperated. He is trying to create some employment opportunities for some of the migrant workers who have returned to Assam. Parikshit Datta, स्वागत आपका बॉटम लाइन पे। आप पहले बताएं कि ये जो इनिशिएटिव आपने लिया है, जो हमें जानकारी मिली है, टू क्रिएट कुछ एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएट करने के लिए फॉर माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स, एक्चुअली क्या है, क्या इनिशिएटिव है?
देखिए क्या है कि हम लोग को कोरोना के जो काम में आ गया है, इसी भी हम लोग का छोटा काम करके जो लड़का था उसके लिए उसका बाद वो लोग आ गया, तो फिर एक मुसीबत आ गया, इसलिए लड़का लोग को अभी क्या करेगा, वो लोग लड़का लोग का घर कैसे चलेगा, वो लड़का लोग को हम लोग कैसे लेके जाना है। इसीलिए हम लोग लड़का लोग को जब आया था, आने के बाद उन लोग जो होम क्वारंटाइन किया था, उस टाइम में हम लोग का उन लोग को भेंट किया था। भेंट करने के बाद उन लोग से बातचीत किया था, तब उन लोग बोला कि उन लोग का इसे जाने का मतलब वापस वो जो जगह में काम करता था वो जगह जाने का मन नहीं था। इसीलिए हम लोग उन लोग को कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी बना के हम लोग का यहीं पे उन लोग को काम में कंसंट्रेट करने के लिए थोड़ा कुछ उन लोग के साथ बातचीत किया।
तो आपने कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी बनाया, उसके तहत क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या रोजगार कैसे दे रहे हैं, और कितने लोगों को आप रीच कर पाए हैं?
इसलिए हम लोग अभी जो हम लोग एक बड़ा सा ग्रुप था गोलाघाट डिस्ट्रिक्ट पर, हर जगह पे बहुत सारा लड़का है, लेकिन अभी जो होम क्वारंटाइन कंप्लीट करने का बाद अभी हम लोग को आज मतलब 26 लड़का मिला। पहले से उन लोग का साथ हम लोग कम्युनिकेट किया था, इसलिए आज उन लोग को लेकर हम लोग फिशरी का काम शुरू किया है। हम अपनी तरफ से उन लोग को फिशरी के लिए पूरा मछली दिया हूँ आज, मछली का दाना भी दिया है। आज इनिशिएटिव लेके आज शुरू हुआ है और लड़का लोग आ गया है, उन लोग का मन में आज
इसके बारे में आपने कब सोचा, कैसे सोचा कि कुछ करना चाहिए? परीक्षित दत्ता, कब आपको लगा कि कुछ करना चाहिए, और कैसे सपोर्ट मिला, कैसे आपने फंड्स गैदर किया इस नोबल प्रोजेक्ट के लिए?
इसे मतलब कि उन लोग का लड़का लोग का पास जब हम गया था बातचीत करने के लिए, इससे बेसिकली हम लोग को सोशली उन लोग का लड़का लोग के साथ हम लोग इकट्ठा होता है, हर टाइम में उन लोग के साथ बातचीत होता है काम के लिए। इसलिए उन लोग को लेके वो उनका मन बातचीत करने के बाद उसको देखा कि उन लोग का काम करने का स्प्रिट है, उन लोग वहाँ काम करते हैं, उन लोग का जो एनर्जी कम वो बाहर में काम करके उन लोग का जो जितना जो एनर्जी है वो एनर्जी खर्च किया है, वो एनर्जी यहीं पे अगर लगाने से उन लोग का काम बढ़ाएगा। और हम लोग का तो यहाँ आसाम में जो एग्री बेस हम लोग का इकोनॉमी है, उन लोग को एग्री बेस इकोनॉमी में लोग कन्वर्ट करें, उन लोग को मोटिवेटेड करने से उन लोग से तो कुछ मिलेगा। और यहाँ हम लोग का एक ही मकसद है कि उन लोग को हम लोग यही बात बताना चाहता हूँ कि हम लोग का अपना खेत अपना बाजार,
Absolutely, absolutely. A great initiative, Parikshit Datta. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, there you heard it. You know, every individual can make a difference. Parikshit Datta here set up a cooperative society with help from friends and relatives, and has tried to create employment opportunities for at least 30 migrants who had returned. A great initiative, however small scale it may be. Last words, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, very quickly.
Yeah, the medium and small scale industries need to be encouraged, and they should employ more of local labor so that the local products can have a greater market at this point of time. And state government can actively initiate such a process and can assist the smaller entrepreneur to develop new kinds of markets of local product. I think that's how a self-reliant economy could be built up.
Absolutely. That is Atmanirbhar in the real sense. Parikshit Datta, we laud your initiative. Thank you so much, Parikshit Datta, for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, Dr. Biswas, and Dr. Palin. That's a wrap of Bottom Line today.